Welcome to the Crazy Hat Chemist. So here we go with another awesome video on how to determine significant figures. This is worksheet number 2. So how to determine significant figures, worksheet number 2. I highly recommend that you watch my previous video on how to determine significant figures, worksheet 1. And from that, you will be able to follow the rules. So I'm going to briefly go over the rules for determining significant figures. So here we go. So the rules for determining significant figures are as follows. All non-zero integers always count without exception. There are 3 rules for zeros. Leading zeros never count. Captive zeros always count. And trailing zeros count with a decimal in the number. All right. So please watch my previous video for more detailed explanation on the rules. And now what we're going to do is we are going to dive right into the problems themselves. Okay, so I have 39 problems for you to do, and you're going to follow along and try to do them with me as well. Here we go. I am the Crazy Hat Chemist, and this is your place to learn chemistry. Here we go. All non-zero integers count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 significant figures in this number. All right, awesome. Non-zero integers always count. That's 4 significant figures. Non-zero integers always count. That's 3 significant figures. Non-zero integers always count. That's 2 significant figures. Non-zero integers always count. That's 1 significant figure. All right, that was pretty easy. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to scroll this on up so we can do some more problems here. So scrolling this on up here, here we go. All right, leading zeros never count. Scratch them out. Non-zero integers always count. That's 2 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Scratch them out. That is non-zero integers always count. That's 3 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Scratch them out. Non-zero integers always count. That's 2 significant figures. Leading zeros never count and scratch them out. That is 1, 2, 3 non-zero integers. They always count. 3 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Scratch them out. And we have 1 significant figure. We're going to move this up just to show the last 3 problems on this column here. Okay, non-zero integers always count, and captive zeros always count. So that would be 3 significant figures. Non-zero integers always count, and captive zeros count. Captive zeros are zeros between 2 non-zero integers. They always count. That's 4 significant figures. Non-zero integers always count, and captive zeros count. That's 5 significant figures. All right. I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. Time for a little bit of advertisement station break here. I am the Crazy Hat Chemist, and please, pretty please, watch my videos on YouTube, all on chemistry. Okay. Please subscribe, give me a like, and tell me what you think. All right, here we go. We're going to keep on going our second column. Okay. Boom. Here we go. So, non-zero integers always count, and this is a trailing zero. Trailing zeros do not count unless there's a decimal in the number, so this is 1 significant figure. Non-zero integers always count. There is a decimal in the number, so that trailing zero counts. This is 2 significant figures. Non-zero integers always count. There is a decimal in the number, and trailing zeros with the decimal counts. That means there are 3 significant figures. Non-zero integers always count, and there is a decimal in the number. So these are trailing zeros with a decimal in the number. They count. That's 3 significant figures. Non-zero integers always count. These are trailing zeros without a decimal. They do not count. Non-zero integers always count. These are trailing zeros without a decimal. They do not count. 1 significant figure. Scrolling this on up just a little bit here so we can get through some more problems. And oh, I know you want to do more. Everybody wants more, more, more. That's right, folks. Got to have more. Okay, so let's do some more of these here. Non-zero integers always count. There is a decimal in the number, so these three trailing zeros will count because there is a decimal in the number. That's 4 significant figures. Non-zero integers always count. There is a decimal in the number, so these trailing zeros, of which there are 5 trailing zeros, they count with the decimal in the number, so that is 6 significant figures. Non-zero integers always count. These are trailing zeros. Without a decimal, they do not count 1 significant figure. Non-zero integers always count. There's a decimal in the number, and all these trailing zeros count. So that is 4 trailing zeros plus the 2. That is 5 significant figures. Non-zero integers always count. There is a decimal in the number, so these, what is that? That's 6, 7 trailing zeros. They all count. That's 8 significant figures. We're going to scroll this on up here to do the last 2 problems within this column. There we go. Awesome. And again, there we go. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. Captive zeros count. That's a captive zero in between 2 non-zero integers. That's 3 significant figures. Okay, leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. Captive zeros always count. There is most certainly a decimal in the number, and that's a trailing zero, and that counts as well. In fact, this problem, number 26, has every rule for zeros in it. If you can do this one, you should be able to do the rest. This has 6 significant figures. Time for another short advertisement break. I am the Crazy Hat Chemist. The Crazy Hat Chemist. Watch my videos on YouTube and subscribe. Like and subscribe, folks. That's right. That's what you need to do right now before we do the rest of these. So we're going to start here on our 3rd and final column of these problems. Okay, here we go. Let's see, that is leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. Captive zeros, they count. And this number has a decimal in it, so these 3 trailing zeros also count. So that would be 6 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. This number has a decimal in it. It has 2 trailing zeros. Trailing zeros count with a decimal. That's 3 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. Decimal in the number. Trailing zeros count. This has 3 significant figures. We're on a roll, folks. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. Trailing zeros with the decimal count. Then we have 2 captive zeros, and captive zeros always count. So this has 5 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. Captive zeros, they count. This number has 4 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. Trailing zeros count when there's a decimal. Oh yeah, there's a decimal. These trailing zeros count. That's 4 significant figures. Okay, I'm going to scroll this on up here again. So let's see how far we can get with this. Okay, we are almost to the end here. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. A decimal in the number. Trailing zeros count. So this has 3 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. Trailing zeros count with a decimal in the number. But wait, captive zeros, they always count. So that's 6 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. And trailing zeros count with a decimal. That's right. So this has 3 significant figures. All right, I'm going to scroll this on up to do our last few problems. And I know you're so excited about that. Okay, so here we go. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. With a decimal in the number, the 2 trailing zeros count. So that's 4 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. And trailing zeros with a decimal in it, oh yeah, they count. That's 2 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. These 4 trailing zeros count because there's a decimal in the number. That's right, folks. So this would be 5 significant figures. Leading zeros never count. Non-zero integers always count. There are no other kinds of zeros, so this is 1 significant figure. That's right. Remember, you're watching The Crazy Hat Chemist. Where is the best place to learn chemistry? It is right here on my YouTube channel, if you are not in my class in person. So please like and subscribe. I love you all. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time for another awesome video. See you later. Bye for now.